to tune in, and we are delighted. And later on in the course of the program, we'll give you, our listener, an opportunity to call in and interact with our guest. And I'm your host, Zach. Now, our guest today is Leadership Movement Party President in Dr. Richard Silumbe. It's a pleasure, and always a pleasure to have you. Welcome to the program.
Well, thank you very much once again for giving me this opportunity to be on 5FM radio.
Great. And well, to you, our listener, remember we are also, please like our page and indeed share it or leave us a comment. We would be grateful to hear from you. And the Facebook page is 5FM Radio Zambia. All right. And please leave us a comment, like I said. Now, Dr. Richard Silumbe, Leadership Movement Party President, like Elias said, is our guest. And let's get right into it. What is really the burning issue at this moment is technical appointed and sworn in by the head of state has finally released the terms of reference. And how did you receive the news when you saw, or what is your immediate reaction to what you saw as the terms of reference?
Well, when I saw the news, I knew definitely that this government that we have today is very, it is in a fast lane, so to say. It is very scared of the 2026 elections. They are very, they are completely out of touch, and they just want to pass this bill. They are very desperate. In short, they want to pass this amendment so that they can give them, it can give them a peace of mind. That is what I saw, because in this election, they would not go to those lengths of ensuring that they settle the issue of amendment before 2026 elections. And this is what we are seeing today. These are the footprints of the agenda that they have. The agenda to deal with the constitution, the agenda to tinker at the constitution so that hopefully they can be in better shape after 2026 elections. When you look at the terms of reference, number one, you'd almost think that this program of constitution amendment that deals with, first of all, consulting with the general public, various sectors of the country, then dealing with getting their views and coming up with a draft constitution amendment, then preparing a report. To me, it looks like a very big program. But when you go into the nitty-gritties of the constitution amendment terms of reference, you find that everything has been narrowed down to what was in Bill 10, contrary to what we expect, because when you create a technical team to oversee constitution amendment, you always give them that opportunity to go broad and ensure that anything that can come from the people as a concern is taken into consideration. But what have they done? Alas, is totally different. They have narrowed down to whatever they feel the agenda is. The agenda is Bill 7. The agenda is to ensure that all those constituencies that currently seem to only give the UPND government one MP, they want them to give 2 MPs or 3 MPs according to the delimitation agenda. So these are the issues that they are pushing forward, regardless of situation, regardless of this, the voices that have said we should not be talking about the constitution amendment right now. We should be talking about what we should deliver to the Zambian people. The Zambian people are under stress now. They are stressed because there is too much poverty. They are stressed of load shedding. They are stressed of so many things, empty promises that the UPND government has not delivered after 4 years of being in power. Now imagine if the constitution amendment was genuine, it would have been done like in 2021, 2022, because that is how you understand a genuine leader. The way we saw Edgar Chagwalungu signing a constitution amendment just after being elected. When you see a leader prolongs anything and then towards an election he starts changing the constitution, you should be very suspicious. And we have on record President Hakainde Hichilema telling the Zambian people, remember during Bill 7, when he shot down the Bill 10 in 2021, he said that there is nothing wrong with people withdrawing from an election after filing in. And they shot down Bill 10 because they knew that it was an agenda by the PF to change things so that it can give them a win in 2021. But the UPND members of parliament, they shot it down and they said everything there is okay. And to that issue, they won an election because the PF were not given an opportunity to change the constitution. So the UPND government now came in power and it knew that the constitution is just okay. What has changed now from 2021 to 2026? What has changed? Why are they so jittery? Why are they so desperate today? We expect them to be thinking about the promises that they gave the Zambian people, not the constitution, not camouflaging everything that they have or the agenda into a seemingly honest decision to appoint a technical committee, a honest decision to change the constitution for better rule of law or management of the country. It is not the truth. The truth lies elsewhere. This is an agenda to push the UPND government to 2026 so that they can win easily. But if we forget about these things, if at all this is not the agenda, a genuine leader would say, let's put this off. Let's have an election in 2026, then after which they can now proceed with constitutional amendment, because after 2026, we will know that there will be nothing of interest, political interest in the constitution. That's how you measure leadership. Any genuine constitutional amendment should never be done towards an election. If you do that, you are inviting suspicions. And in this case, the suspicions are quite genuine, looking at the desperation that the UPND government has. And these are the issues that we are saying, let us trash that constitutional amendment away until after 2026, after elections. Then whoever is going to be in power, he will have all the mandate to change the constitution, because we will know that he will be doing that not with a sight of an election in a near future.
Yeah. Also, let's have a look at the history a little bit. Not long ago, I think that the debate around Bill 7 was that it did not receive people participation. All right, that citizens did not participate in the process, and also in the draft itself, in coming up with the draft. And even the Constitutional Court, I think, ruled that it was wrong not to actually do a countrywide consultation with the citizens for this government to amend the constitution, and so followed the procedure which obviously the court advised. Fine. Here we are now. We've got a committee that will go around 10 provinces and gather the information around this amendment of the constitution. So again, you have been given the way it should have been, and yet you still don't agree. Why?
There are two options involved. If the UPND government cannot measure the temperature of the country today, the tensions and all these things, the concerns, if they go ahead, Zambians, they are going to receive a feedback. Among the feedback, especially from the politicians, would be, we want to knock out certain issues that would give them an advantage. For instance, we would want to know which constituencies are up for delimitation. We don't want them to fall in the areas where they have their stronghold. And those amendments to the terms of reference or to the Bill 7, they have to be taken into consideration. I've seen in the terms of reference, it will be difficult. From the surface, it has been said that they are going to draft a new constitution. But technical committee, when you have been told already in the terms of reference what you should focus on, we expected the terms of reference to be broad so that anybody, any technical committee, understanding would be taken into consideration, because people air their views. They are going to meet different groupings from all walks of life. And others will say, we are not comfortable with this issue. Others will say, we are not comfortable with delimitation that focuses on your stronghold. Are those going to be taken into consideration? Are they going to consider that have been left out in Bill 7? These are the questions that we would want to see. If that's the case, if all issues that surround the agenda for the UPND to ensure that they already secure a win in 2026, if they are sorted out, see, because if they come to me as a technical committee, I'll tell them my views about that. And we hope to see those changes in the Bill 7. If that works, we'll be there to accept.
Well, I hope you will make your submissions, because obviously you and I and every citizen out there will be given an opportunity to make submissions before the technical committee, no?
Definitely. It would have been for the UPND to shelve this issue so that they can deliver themselves from unnecessary criticism. And from the ruling party is to ensure that they do things in in a way that they reduce tension in the country, so that people can see them as honest leaders, not as dubious, dishonest leaders, politicians presiding over a country. That is what we expect. We expected them to be prudent in executing these, national issues.
You did bring up an issue in comparison. You said, look, as opposed to pushing this agenda of the amendment of the Constitution, the UPND should have concentrated on doing, delivering on promises and so on. And I think that, again, this is a question that is begging answers, challenged and asked questions. If you are saying we are better where we are coming from than they are today, where do you live? If you can't see that things are better today, then where do you live? And I want to challenge this question to yourself, because you are saying this is where the UPND should have concentrated. But the president says things are better.
Zambians out there, they are mourning. They are mourning. They are very disappointed. They are literally devastated at the way the UPND has managed this country. I'll give you tangible examples. The UPND found fuel at 17 kwacha. Today is at 30 kwacha. Does that show you that this government has done a lot? The UPND government found a bag of mealie meal at 90 kwacha, and they take it to 400 kwacha. Does that show the things that are going in a right direction? What about the fares and so many other things? This is why today we say it's not even about the opposition, because they say, oh, we don't have opposition. Things are okay. We are doing CDF and all that. It's not about the opposition. It's about the Zambian people. Their biggest opposition is that Zambian out there who used to make fritters, and now he or she cannot afford to make fritters and earn a living. Those people who used to have enough money, but now they cannot afford. Those people who used to buy a bag of mealie meal, now they are thriving on a palmera. They are thriving on small pieces of food. That is the issue. And those are the people who are going to give them their verdict. Today they can say things are okay. It's kwenyu on this, kwenyu on that. But that kwenyu ni boza. And Zambians are there because Many of these programs they are talking about CDF, people just see them on TV. On the ground there, people are suffering. People, these farmers, they grew their maize, they harvested, they take to FRI, then they are not paid their money, and the season is gone. The other day I was talking to one farmer who lamentably complained that he has built and he was hoping to get money from FRI so that he can buy iron sheets, and yet that man has not come, and rains are about to fall. What will happen to that house? These are the complaints that we are hearing everywhere where we go. So the UPND government lives in a different Zambia, and they are surrounded by cadres who are receiving handouts, and they don't even know what is happening. The reality is devastating. The reality is different. FISIP is a disaster. CDF is a disaster. The CDF they are talking about is the CDF that has bought police officers' cars moving around. Is that the CDF you can say it is benefiting the Zambian people? The CDF of 1-by-3 block classrooms, toilets, that is the CDF you can talk about. When your friends, when they were in power, there was no CDF. CDF was literally none, but they built hundreds of schools, hundreds of hospitals. You are talking about peanuts, and you have 40 million of CDF allocated that no one sees except your friends and cohorts. These are the issues that is up with the UPND. And the opposition for the UPND is not me and any opposition. They think they are nothing. They will go there with questions. It's the Zambian people who vote. If they give them a 50+1, they will be fail to get a 51. That will be their exit. Because in the second run-up, they were running, and they will be up against 2. And that will be the issue that will define the future of the UPND, because they will definitely fail to overcome the opposition, because that will be the real opposition. Zambians against them, with only 2 choices to make. So these are the issues we are talking about, and they should really awaken, because today we are hearing that they will have, but what is happening on the ground is poverty plus. Zambians are suffering. Those are the issues that they should be aware of, and we are telling them we are measuring the pressure there at the grassroots. People are suffering. People are very sad. People are disappointed. And if UPND thinks that they have delivered, let them wait for 2026, because that issue of free education, no one is feeling it. You are talking about free education when somebody cannot even afford a pair of shoes. Somebody cannot even afford a uniform, let alone so many demands for books and so many things. We saw what free education was in the Kenneth Kaunda time. And that was true free education. We went to school. We found so many things. We found books, pencils, pens. There was nothing to buy. That is free education. Now you tell a poor mother who should pay 2,000 kwacha just to ensure that a child is saved for school, and you say that is free education. We wait to see.
How are you describing the political environment currently for you as a party? I know that you've in difficult situations as a political party. Just describe to us what recently happened.
Well, as usual, the UPND government has taken a number of cadres which have infiltrated the police systems. And I say this because we had an incident last week where on Tuesday I was scheduled to see some of these, to see whether people are registering. We wanted to see our members registering there.
Right.
Then upon inspecting those registration centers, a few of our members, young people, were going back home. Then they crossed that Mtendele police post. We hear that Mtendele is their head office for cadres clad in UPND, hiding in police uniforms, but they are UPND. So they arrested those two young guys and they were brutally beaten. I visited them on Thursday. I visited them there. I saw how brutal they were beaten, those young boys. And I requested the police to release them immediately. One of them was released because of medical grounds. He started even fitting. He was having some convulsions. And then when I was just about to address the media, when I was there, already the police visibly, agitated, like UPND cadres. They were very annoyed that there was media there, and they were not happy that I'm addressing the media. What do? They started calling cadres from the market there. No, you come, and cadres started coming with buses, and we continued talking because we know that this is our Zambia. This Zambia is not for UPND. We saw so many flags around Mtendere. UPND to be a problem when police see somebody wearing vote for Dr. Richard Silumbe in 2026. And that was the bone of contention, that those young people were wearing a vote for Dr. Richard Silumbe in 2026. Whilst going home, one was holding a flag, a leadership movement flag. And yet there are so many flags, huge material everywhere there. So it was very unacceptable. And that is not the democracy that we would want to see as leadership movement in this country. We expect the UPND a sense enough to have impartiality, to ensure that the police operates professional. Because if you heard what Ringa wrote in that statement, he said that he was called by some UPND cadre. Of course, he didn't say that. He said, no, some concerned citizen. We knew that it's a UPND cadre who said, what are you doing? Why should those young people be moving in the roads? And they went and arrested them. So it was very unfortunate. And as I finished that speech, I was speaking to the media, and we went as leadership movement. Of course, the cadres had already mobilized. They were there. Then, as I was entering the car, I saw, the journalists being ransacked by cadres, UPND cadres. Of course, they couldn't attack us as leadership movement because they saw we had our people there. They couldn't engage us, but they engaged the media because the media were a little bit exposed. They were just professionals doing their work. They were there insisting to confiscate their gadgets, to delete all the footage, and know that in the presence of police officers behind cadres doing their work. So what do you call such kind of police brutality in this country where the president suffered enough of such kind of cadreism? We expected the president of this country to do much better because he was a victim of cadreism. We saw how President Hakainde Hichilema, jumped through the roof at Rooster FM in Ndola when he was, ransacked by cadres, by PF cadres. And we thought that when he made that statement, when he was sworn in, that he would never tolerate cadres. That would have been the thing he could achieve, because that he felt it in flesh and blood. But look at what has happened today. All that has been forgotten. The police, many of these police posts, they are infiltrated by cadres. They are doing the bidding for UPND cadres. And that is what happened. And we saw it went viral, how the journalists were being, by the cadres in broad daylight with police officers there who seemingly are just acting out of their mind, just like cadres themselves. So that is the kind of Zambia we are having under UPND government. Very sad to see that, because personally I didn't expect that the UPND government would stoop so low to the levels of what we used to see in the previous government. but we saw it light. We are very disappointed. And that is not the only thing. We have seen it in many areas. Remember, we had a by-election just some 2 weeks ago, where our candidate, we had only 2 candidates, one for UPND and the other for leadership movement in Western Province, in Mongo there, in Naka, that was Nalikwanda ward. What happened? Before we could even vote, when they just filed in, they're about to start campaigning, they abduct the candidate, the leadership movement candidate. Then they hide him somewhere. The people, Gilbert Liswanisu, saying, no, we are supporting UPND. Those are not the politics we expect from a government that seemingly feels that they are comfortable and they are giants and there is no opposition. Which is about to win with distinction, to actually allow these opposition, small opposition, to show democracy. That's how a big brother behaves. But they are behaving like little kids. You see, they are behaving so jittery, so out of touch with reality, so rattled. You can't explain their state of mind. But I'm sure that they are measuring the temperature. They are measuring the pressure on the ground. And they know that it's not even about the opposition. It's about the people there who are angry with them. Therefore, they think that every opposition somehow shouldn't appear on the scene. Whoever appears, they have to be agitated and stop them from campaigning. They want to make this country become only a UPND avenue, and we are not going to accept that. And for what happened in Mutendere, we are already suing that police, those police officers who were Tuesday, who beat up our candidates. We know them. We wrote to the police. We have not seen the names of the people who were on duty on that day, but accept the police to be brutal to somebody who is just walking. Why should you beat up a member of an opposition political party? You beat them up to the levels that they have serious medical conditions. It's very unacceptable. These people underwent serious medical checkups, and we want to sue those police officers who are behaving like cadres, clad in police regalia. We are going to do that because we don't want that to continue. Imagine if all police posts, they start behaving like Mtendere police post. We are not going to have a country. They will force us to start now mobilizing to react to police brutality. And this country will not be a good country when opposition political parties start fighting back. We want to continue with the decency that we expect to see in a country that we call a peaceful Zambia that has always been like that.
So today we are privileged to host Dr. Richard Silumbe. He is the Leadership Movement Party president, and we are discussing quite a number of issues. And of course, to spearhead the constitutional amendment process is concerned. He is his country now. Let's get to the voter registration exercise not long ago. I mean, a brilliant move, you would want to say. This is expected that this is done, this just as many people as possible, considering we have elections next year. But what is your immediate thought around the exercise? Are there any issues raised so far, or you are impressed with the process?
So far, we are hearing a number of things. We have our members on the ground. We are hearing that in many areas where the UPND is not their stronghold, they have neglected this voter registration. We have seen many posts that are there, but the registration taking place. So many excuses that they don't have material, they don't have machines, and all that. So this to us is saddening. We expect the much better. Let them run this voter registration with impartiality. Let them do it across the country. And we are encouraging Zambians to vote in numbers. I mean, to register in numbers, because when you register, you have the power. to end your poverty. You have the power. The power is in that vote. So we are encouraging Zambians to vote, encouraging Zambians to register so that in 2026 they can vote. And it is the mandate of us leaders. This is what the ECZ chairperson said. We, the politicians who participate such as elections, we need to encourage our members, and we are going to be we have been doing that. We were in Mtendere, we went through Kalingalinga, and this tomorrow I'll be in other places, and Thursday I'll be in Garden House, everywhere. We want to see and monitor how registration is taking place, and we don't want anyone to stop us. So we are warning the police, because we'll be on the ground and we have not stopped. We don't want anarchy. We want Zambians to be sensitized, because this is what ECZ said. We want to ensure that many Zambians register to vote, because only then are they going to have power to change government, power to decide, power to end their poverty, power to end load shedding. Imagine if you were told that load shedding will end once we come in power. We thought that the UPND had a 5 beta kappa key to load shedding. They gave so many examples. And what the Zambian people didn't ask was, what is the solution? What is the alternative? Imagine how disappointing to the Zambian people it is that in their mind, what was there was solar. And they have put up solar farms, destroying our farms. Imagine that in Chisamba, putting up thousands of hectares, you put solar panels, destroy that land, arable land, by the way, where we should be putting state farms to produce 100 megawatts, which no one has even felt it. And leadership movement has been on record since 2021. We said when we come into power, one thing we are going to do with load shedding is nuclear power. And we are going to ensure that we put up one nuclear power plant, which would cover for all the problems that we have. Imagine that time when we said this, no one listened. They thought we are jokers. Today we are seeing what is happening with this young man, Ibrahim Traore, who is building up a nuclear power plant, and they will be providing electricity to the whole West Africa. That is a business plan that we intended to do as leadership movement. This time around, a new modular nuclear power plant, which wouldn't take 2 years to put. And we talk about these things, you will never hear a whisper about nuclear power as an alternative from the UPND government, because these people do not understand answers the problems of the people. We want a solution, not just mere sponsored to be in power so that the puppeteers can now benefit. And this is what we are experiencing under the UPND government, where you have minerals, they go to foreigners. It's foreigners who are enjoying the minerals. They are enjoying our gold, our copper, manganese, everything. We have uranium that goes to America, and we don't even have a hand in it. Imagine when a young Ibrahim Traore has said enough is enough. You are not going to take the gold from Burkina Faso. You are not going to take the uranium from Burkina Faso. You are not going to take any mineral. Those minerals are working for the Burkinabes, and they have built wonders. They have built roads. They have built industries. They have built hospitals. They are now making cars, Sahel vehicles. In 2 years, they have built a nuclear power plant. And we have even callers around saying, no, it's okay. Oh, we have a leader. We don't have leaders in Zambia. We don't have leadership. There is nothing. We have empty teens, politicians who have nothing to offer to the Zambian people. We need leaders who put Zambia first. And that is our rallying cry as leadership movement. We want Zambia that is proud and free. We want a Zambia that is a land of work and joy. Not you sing about land of work and joy and millions of young people are in the streets. They have no jobs. They have nothing to do in the country. And you have a government that cannot even create jobs. When you hear in Burkina Faso, Young people, they finish grade 12, all of them, they are absorbed. They have something to do. They are working for the country, for their motherland. And these are the things we talk about. Remember when you started talking about ZNS in 2021, many people said, oh, this is old model, oh, what. Now they are now seeing the consequences of being brainwashed with a colonial mindset that believes that anything foreign is better. Zambians are now seeing the cost of having a colonial mentality that thinks that only foreigners can develop Mother Zambia. We have now a generation of adults who have no future, and their children have got no promised future until leadership movement comes in power and we implement state farms in every district so that production could be the name of the game. Until we come in power and put up ZNS mines everywhere where we have manganese, gold, we have a ZNS mine, and money starts flocking into Bank of Zambia coffers, then we'll be able to do so many things. Then we'll be able to see production everywhere. Until leadership movement comes in, because leadership movement is the only leadership that recognizes that every person has got something to contribute, educated or not educated. Whether you went to school or you didn't go to school, something God has given into you and you can contribute to the development of this country. And that is what we talk about. We want every Zambian who has a talent, they are given jobs. Today, when you talk about jobs in ZNS, you need to have a grade 12 certificate. What about those who didn't have an opportunity to finish their grade 12 certificate, their grade 12, and have a grade 12 certificate? They have something to contribute. Remember, God lesalibika muchata chako because lesatupangire muchata chako. Bonse twalikwate chabo pecho lesatupere italanta. That's why ife pamunga ba leadership movement tulando kwati ifero twaisa mumaka izedns tule umfwe ya grade 12 certificate ikaba open kumuntu uli wonse as long as walikwate talanta nga walikwate talanta walishi baniwe kanye mukukula pali inoshita ulakula ulakula manganda lero nga wayatufa enchito balakwe bati grade 12 certificate iri kwese taukwete lero olakula okuchira n'omuntu wapwisha grade 12 ifo tulefwalire talanta twakupere enchito mu ZNS waya muchiputwa chakukula wala bomba wala kula walikwate talanta eri akubira lero tawakwete eshuko ili akupwisha grade 12 nokwata certificate waingira muchiputwa chakubira mu ZNS twalabira n'ama uniform aya bakapokola tureshita ku China. We want to be making here in Zambia. Our agenda is about production. Walikwate talanta eri akupenta walitemo okupenta waya is about production. Without production, no country can go anywhere. Every Zambian must participate in building this Zambia, not a few politicians, and you think we are going anywhere. Until we get all our gold in our hands, we get our copper in our hands, we get our manganese, everything, because we have what it takes. We can have ZNS mines. Barabonse abatemu amapiki n'amashaveo okwimba omukuba lero tabakweta apa kwimba instead yako ya mukufa kumufumbwe kwingira mu chiputwa chama mine mu ma ZNS mines under our government balayimba n'omukuba balefula n'ama salaries efo tulefwaya pamunga ba leadership movement not mulelekesha abana mulebe party ama license kwisa wapero muntu license takweta apa kwimba omukuba alayimba shana. Confusion continues. Tulefwa, that's why we talk about title deeds. Ilo tuwapela ama title. Umuntu onsaka kwata apa impange yakwe. Balabu onsaba ipere shoku imbomu kuba. Alefwa ati, alikwata fecha upe. Alefwa ale imbomu kuba. Aitumpa mmakwebo. Tuwa musuminisha. As long as ifo buteko bwesta tuwakabale kereshe balaba itumpa migodi yo. Bonseba jerabo. Tukakwata Mineral Reserve Agency. Kulioko akuya mukushitisha firafine ba fama ba mukushitisha amataba kwefaraye ngo waya kwefaraye taba kuipsha ati license iri kwisa firafine ofuna mu mining chikaba balabonse bajira baba itumpa mu migodi nishina tukwata ma ZNS mine na bena baleimba ukuchiro kwe bati umuntu waimba manganese 1 ton takwetoko akusha ala afi kuli ba Chinese balamwa ni 50 kwacha petani vena basende manganese basha pa 2500 kwacha petani ifwe mu Zambia tuleshala pofeneli akwana mungwa kumumbwa kwali ba god lero abantu baleshala pofeneli akwana mungwa lero balepela ba Chinese ba choncholi ebalesha pamutengo usuma ebalewina. We need mineral reserve agency umuntu wonse kuti asha pamutengo usuma manganese waku mineral reserve agency washaring nangu pali $2000 petani pakuwati ubuteko nangu bwasha pali 25 wapanga profit na iwo wine na ukwata molubadi no mbaba bamwisa twalekera eba senda fyomukuba tobapera ne migod. Can you imagine we have the whole lot of Bank of Zambia going to sign an MOU with Kansenshi mine ati no twakulashita gold ku Kansenshi pantu imwe ba Kansenshi nimwe mwakwata gold isuma mwalekeresha abantu bonse abana god abaleyimba god apako bati mwalasenda na god pamutengo wachipa lero mulefu afe bamwisa pantu. You have a colonial mindset that believes that anything foreign is better. Mwali problem ya mumutwe colonial mentality mwaumfa kuntu kumigodi abana baleyimba kwafu abantu babiri abo ba minister ba god. We don't want this 250 nabafa mumo pani zi takwa banokulandako ni state mwisaliremo pani ifwero tuza mumaka ilo twamfuata abantu nabafa pasenseri mine twala kubakanye baya basambirisha ife yakutashata bane nga muleyimba utuliopi mwabika mwachitashata mwakati ngefi mti mwapangira pakuwati amamwe yalataye miponena continue kuimba tefwa safety bakonkanya po kuimba omukuba nomba mulea muleba kanya twamfira ba Minister of Transport basi yapo na nangulikiri basi bamkwisa ro musebo ati abantu bafa sana lekeni ukuimba ukwenda nangula ba canceling ato likiri basi yale ko kwenda yale pita babeba fiati safety number 1 baba sambirisha bakonkanya no mbakumukuba kwena nishikwa bera fyo kuya mukwisara kwa bera fyo kuya mukukanya abantu kwa bafyo kuya mukutumako bakapokola kwena mwebe na Zambia buteko bwashani mwakwata ubwakwati bwali mipata imoteti mukwate molu bali mufinto folesa mipera mulefu afe bamwisa beka ebo bali bamwisa kunuma ubuteko bwakwa Ibrahim Traore ebulefu ako pantofo tulanda pamunga ba leadership movement ekitomwa cha Ibrahim Traore. That's why mule mweno okubati muma basi na muma taxi driver tamwakasange omuntu abula taxi nangula basi abika po muntu waba Edgar Chagwadungu tamwaka mweno okwati omuntu abula basi abika po muntu waba HH takwaba bala bulo omuntu wakwa Ibrahim Traore babika po fishi chiretu ubutungulushi ufire bwabula abantu abekala chalo wabika pantanshi bamwisa kunuma nomba bonse aba abena Zambia bene bali chenchenta bamuna no kubata muli ntungulushi muno Zambia isho akwa chiri worth umuntu nakwata taxi ayabika pono mutwe nabesho kwati ubutungulushi bulive kuri Ibrahim Traore bale mono kwati butungulushi balanda tichi kwanka bachimwena kumamparanya efintu tulelanda pamunga ba leadership movement tulefu obuteko bwakwati bwabula abena Zambia wabika pantanshi bule abena Zambia balesanga molu bali mufinto folesa abapero kwambira fe kumpanga topera mataito tulechita fisip twabula ba mukukulu kufuma kurusaka twamukubapela ati baye bapere omufundo ilo balefika kula kumishe lila abantu amasukupa mitwe kuno baumfato 50,000 bags of fertilizer na iya lero abantu balesenda amameda balesenda amatepe tulefwa ifero twaisa mu makaba mfumu inchito yabo yakutari recognize abantu babo fertilizer ikalafikira muri bashamfumu pakwe batabe ne balishwo muntu libalansha kwato uyakwata tulima uyakwata wanu lima ama ediment ebafire batupera ila information twabapera amataito na abantu balabene balesendo mufundo according nenchende nempango bakwata. That's why mu buteko bwa leadership movement mulesango kwe bati ntungushisha para bashamfumu na shena na shisangamu na shikwata mu lubali noti ubufunfu ntungu tulemona ubwakwe bati balete omufundo abantu balisa benefit wayamumishi monse balelirafe au kwena balelanda ati pafitunshi tuleta ambati fertilizer eleza lero kuno takuli no mbati twakonkanya apo kwikale fikwena tulefwaya ukubomba n'abantu bonse abe na Zambia batemu ekyalo kyeswi kya Zambia twamunofu twingafuirisha twayafuisha fwebe na Zambia pakwa twamba okuyapantanshe ifye fintu tulanda polyonse mwabula mataba mwashita pali 340 kwacha ng'obuteko kumuntu wachula alibikirishe po ashita fertilizer pali 1000 kwacha mwamushita amataba mwakana n'okumulipira irendalama ashitisha 100 bags apusanga mufe 34 pini mwakana n'okumupera endalama mwalanda tawo tukakupera mufe umufundo then mwaisalanda ng'obuteko atwa ifwe pamo ng'obuteko twalashtisha amataba ku Congo twalashtisha amataba walidula matupini isakalimo nomba shirendalama amataba oyo tabalimine amataba oyo bashitire pamutengo wachabe chabo kube na Zambia ifwero twaisa mumaka pamo nga ba leadership movement. That's why tulera pama state farms monse ma districts twakwata ma state farms kulisha bena Zambia lero ababonse abalimi bakakwate eshuku eryaku senda amataba yabo na FRA trucks basenda amataba ilio balima basombola bayingisha ku Congo nangula ku Angola umuntu munshita kwati asombola amataba 100 bags ashitishe by 34 pini muno Zambia akala asenda abika pali FRA truck haya nayo aingira ku Congo nanku Angola aisha pali 2 pini sakalimo aisa na 200,000 kwacha aisa manuksa develop panchende yakwe tulefwa ya bena Zambia baba foreign investor ebale uteko bulishe chalo uteko bukakwata ma state farms takwa kabensala iyo noti fitule umfa bambi emitwe yo mwalale suminisha shani abali myukushya mataba tukumuka bensala busheni nchito yabo yakulishe chalo imwe barusaka inchito yabo abali mite nchito yabo yakumirisha nga shuo kwata mataba yali muchalo chesu cha Zambia tufetwa kwata ma state farms mosuminisha bapange ndalama kufyaro fimbi balete ndalama eshingi firafine ba fama bako America inkoko balya ku Russia shifuma ku America nomba imagine state farms pakwe bataba iche bakwate enchito ama ZNS mines bakwate enchito leo ulio mulimi uwaitumpa mu bulimi akakwate eshuko yakupange ndalama eshingi no buyanta shibukambi okumoneka mu mishi monse pantu emu aba production emu aba abantu akwati bapange efintu bashana na kumbi noti fitule mona twalititikisha abalimi tebalunduruka olwo abantu balera ndati peasant farmer tebasha graduate kuli FISIP ala sa graduate shani mulemusha amataba pali 340 kwacha instead mumutsuminisha ya shepai 2 pini apange ndalama fertilizer nembuto shimbi lero mwali mutitikisha teulerishe chalo kusheni civil servant wenu civil servant titwasunga abalimi nga ba civil servant tulefwa abalimi balepanga profit because farming is a business obuteko ebwa kwata responsibility.
I would like to obviously at this point see if we can invite our to have their say and agree or disagree with your policies or your alternatives in as far as national development is concerned. This is the Tuesday edition of the Burning Issue on the Happy Word of 5 FM radio. We are also live on Katete FM in Katete, covering the rest of Eastern Province on 103.3 FM. And we are also live in Kabwe, and Central Province is well covered. And this is because we have Spice FM radio in Kabwe on 91.1. Thank you very much, Spice, for that. And of course, ZFM in Kapiri as well on 100.3 FM. And we are live in Ndola and on the Copper Belt on Platinum Radio, that is on 99.7, and Tuta FM in Mansa as well on 90.7 FM. We are very grateful that you carried our conversation live on your various platforms. Now, I will take phone calls on 0955-221515. Our guest this morning is Dr. Richard Silumbe, Leadership Movement Party President. And let's see this one here. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Yeah, your line is quite bad. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Your line is quite bad. You're still breaking. Please try and call us back. And I think it's a network issue. Let's see if we can take some more on 0955 221515. I've got a comment on Facebook. It is a question, but for you, Dr. Silumbe. This one is coming from Niza. Okay, so Niza Piri is asking a question. Has Dr. Silumbe been to Burkina Faso? All right. Just take note of that. Let's see if we can take another one on 0955 221515. Good morning.
Yes, morning.
Not too bad. Thank you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Thank you very much. You're talking to Cool Voice on the line here.
Yes, please. Look at the voice.
Thank you. Leadership movement.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, your line is bad as well. Unfortunately, I seem to be having challenges with. Can you hear me right? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, unfortunately. We seem to be having a challenge with our network, but we'll try by all means to see if we can hear as many as we can get on 0955. Alternatively, please message on the same number. If you can, send us an SMS on the same number, 0955 221515. We'll be grateful to read it out, or go to our Facebook page, 5FM Radio Zambia. And another one, I should think we have another question on our Facebook, rather not question, but I think a comment. Well, let's see. Let's read it out. This one is coming from Clifford Siabona, who says, watching you live here in Lusaka. So he says he is on the ground to, I think HH is on the ground to commission Trade Kings, which is another Kwenyu, free education, which has helped poor people like me is here to stay. Another Kwenyu, CDF increment across the 156 constituencies, another Kwenyu. Farming is being transformed. That's the reason why, as young as I am, I've managed to supply 30 bags to the Food Reserve Agency. If today the UPND government imposing employment freeze and wage freeze, we'll see this man in the studio together with the Secretary General, Mr. Jairus Ngoma, moving from radio to from one radio to another station to still be criticizing. Okay, so let me see if we can squeeze in another one. This one is from Kumoyo T. Makai, that is on Facebook, says Dr. Silumbe draws so much inspiration from Captain Ibrahim Traore. Kindly asking me if he is planning a coup d'etat. But before you respond, let me give you this particular code. Good morning.
Morning, how are you, Mr. Moderator?
Good morning. Thank you very much for calling. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, my name is Philemon from Churika, Zambia.
Yes, please, Philemon.
Yeah, allow me at this juncture to completely disagree because this was continuously offloading ubusi, falsehood, misinformation.
Yeah, again, we seem to have lost.
It's people.
Yeah, Philemon again. Unfortunately, we seem to be struggling with network. If you can, please text us. Please send us an SMS on the same number. We'll be glad to hear. But let's respond. I mean, you've just gotten a few from Facebook. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
First of all, man who has supplied 30 bags to FRA.
Right.
So as a young person, must supply 30 to FRA. 30 bags times 340 kwacha, getting basically something like 9,000, just around 9,000 to 10,000 kwacha. So, send them off a 10 pin, so to alanda fe in short 10,000 kwacha. We must send them mukushitisha amataba 30 bags iyo nomba nga mwachita supply ku Congo na ku Angola mwalasanga ko bati nga mulesha pali 2 pin isaka limu mwalasendamo 60 pin 60 pin so nomba nga mwasendeyo 60 pin iyo 60 pin yala mibombero kuchira 10 pin so empowerment tulelandapo so instead ya kushitisha pali ayo 30 bags mwasenda muka 10 pin again mukabapana nikani pa line ya kusenda FISIP again if yofine tamwakachite graduate nakalya nombo buchushi efira balanda ati bali mikaka mwabali mibika muka kopo mukonka face rat race so we don't want such rat races ya kula support afyo buteko na mailo again mwayatantama mrefu haya meda ya fertilizer again na next year if yofine. That's why abantu badabo kwati abantu lyonse ni ba peasant farmer tabashita develop iyo nomba nga twaya kuli bamwisa balabonse abasungu aba bakumukush farm block ila mukush farm block balabonse balya iyo basombola amataba tamwaka bamone bali kwefara ebalestisha iyo bantu buteko wali bula bamwisa wabika pantanshi kansha bamwisa bakumukush farm block bali basuminisha okuya kushitisha amataba yabo ku America as feed for livestock so limbala shapali 2500 kwacha isaka limo nomba imagine ndalama bapanga ni shimwe ba peasant farmer bali misunga imo kutwala fe kwefara mwasenda ka 300 kwacha yonse mwabafe nchushi isha akapera makufita mwakachite develop nakalya yonse kula ilishanya nomba buteko bwa leadership movement buleisa mukumirubula buleisa mukumipela amaka tulefwa ilio mwasombola 30 bag ngo yumurumendo 30 bag abika pali FRA track aingira ku Angola aya shapali 2 pin isakalimo aisa na 60 pin iyo 60 pin ilio aisa na yoyo ala shita fertilizer panish tulepanga each province tukalapanga umufundo not mwabula iyi United whatever fertilizer something bamwisa beke balepanga balisha pamutengo ukulunganshi vale sana export tulefwa ubuteko bwaitumpa muri production nitrogen chemicals of Zambia will be revived naya shara Monsema province waisashta muri 60 masaka 30 walashta fertilizer ingi pamutengo fyo wachipa ngafe twaleshta mu 2005 na mu 2016 na mu 2015 twaleshta pai 200 kwacha fertilizer nde bushana lishtirepo 200 bags ya fertilizer na pwire fyo kupela abantu kuchongwa mafarmers ukubashako empower. That was 2014-2015 very cheap fertilizer. This time you can't even afford. It's about 1,000 kwacha, almost a bag of fertilizer. So this is not the right way to go. Bakomfa wesu tulefwaya ichitukuko the real development ya kweba ati ababonse abalimi ilio basombola bakwata mwolubali balanonkeramo pantu bulimi ni production ba leadership movement waitwalo lekesha pabalimi nokubachita empower pantu ebantu bamo abayitumpa muri production tulefo okubafuirisha bakwatilio bambo kushitisha kufyalo fimbi bala kwatendalama ama dola yafula mchalo chesu cha Zambia wayakumushi wasanga ama dola wayakonsomo mwapitira monse mumishi muli na kufyalo fimbi lero obuteko bwenu uwa leadership movement wena bukakwata ama state farm we have irrigation farming ama state farms monse ma district nga twaisa pa Mukushi district wabika mo state farm Lusa Chongwe district twabika mo state farm twabika monse ma district twakwata 115 districts roughly tukakwata 115 state farms umo tuleli menyanje tuleli mefyale kanale kana kuloko aba rice twalima ko rice kanshino omuntu wonse nenchushi shikakwata okukwanisha okushitesa kali abunga pantu nishu buteko bwenu bulebombesha not ubuteko bwabana mwelepete mwalikalafe yeah. Ama youth balero fwafe mu ma street atakwa benchito lero mwalikwata no buteko instead ya kula panga efintu instead ya kula bombesha instead ya kula sta produce gold yonse tulepela bamwisa instead ya kwata ma ZNS mines ilo twatampire ndebusha bakonfas twala ndoko bati mining we can do it. Ambira n'amapiki n'amashavel. That was 2021. Twaliumfire ffe ba UPND basaka mwike iwe kutwala bepa abantu nikwisa ibomba n'amapiki n'amashavel kwali nsele everywhere. But I looked at them pamunga kafundisha wachalo nalishwa kuba tukuchinje chalo chalibe chashupa. Sometimes abantu kula kutukensere olese kana okuseka na wish bati bakesa kutasha kuntashi ilo tabakutashe abana aba bakesa atasha kwe bati ngata kwali ba leadership movement abali bold enough to tell the Zambian people kwen no kubeba mumenso yabatu kwe namuli finangwa teti mulekere ba muisa bala misendera bala milira masku pamitwe bala misendera fyonse omukoba imo mulero shafya rufinka kwate equipment mining tu atampa na piki na shovel pantu mining yatampire ni takulabana equipment ili yonse fyonse ama equipment tu atampire ni mining yatampire first olo bapanga eshimbi olo bapanga fyonse no mbabala bonse abaleseka baisa muna abana god baisa muna abantu bale imbana mapiki na mashavel wamba no kumfensoni no buteko bwasenda mwamano wamba na artisanal mining efo ture chinja Zambia pantu turera ndefintu vya kwati tamwa fyumfuirepo mwale fyumfa mkonka fya abasungu bana no we need to invest billions of dollars in mining kanshi bale mibepa fyobufi kuti waimbane liwe lya kopa waya kuangola kuchingola wasangati abantu bale imba iraine kopere fuma mopani real kopa nan pirate kopa pirate bale isanga na bena na mapiki na mashavel nomba imumu aikala muchakale iyo ubuteko bwesu buli bwino bulefu wa investor kuti mwamukulomba ba investor mule pitane said mupange ZNS mwambie okuimba god ngaba na god monso mwa god mwaimba god kwa bakopa mwaimba kopa manganeze abayiche bale imba na mashavel na mapiki pamkushi ati yo teti kwawe kube mining yama piki na mashavel ilio mwatampa na mapiki na mashavel mwaimba god yo mwashita process mwashitisha mwasanga mwindalama mwashita my equipment in 1 year nishina mukwata na my equipment ayo ene mwalefu ayo kukwata pantu nishina mutampa. Everything starts from the scratch. That's how you develop a country.
Let me give you some more comments on our SMS line. Good morning, Zach. Good morning, Dr. Richard Silumbe. I have a question for you, Mr. President. What short-term solution do you have to cushion the big animal called load shedding come 2026 if you are voted into power? This is Gilbert Mwana Kabila from Kabwe Town. Thank you very much for your question. Be brief so that we can take some more.
Ilio tuwaisa mumaka. Ilio tuwaisa mumaka pamonga ba leadership movement tuwalisa kare research tuwalimona the only solution ya load shedding ya Zambia ni climate change. Tatu wakachite continue kuimba kupanga madamu. Tatu wakachite continue na masola. Olo fidefu masola babika ku monsi omumwa kuba titwalali mamo muchisamba tukafifunya bonse baraba foreign ababika mwenda tukabeba tambeni ku renting ama imitengesha abantu tukafifunya fyonse fe bakalabika pa mitengesha abantu takwa kabe ukalapanga masola farm kona ule nchende kona ule mpanga ifwero twaisa mu makature panga ma modular nuclear power plant tukambira na imo ikaba kubangwe ulu pantu nuclear power plant ibo mfyameshi steam to run ama turbines. This time mabali sela abantu technology ama nuclear power plant you don't even need to wait for 15 years ilabale bepa ba UPND na abantu babati yo you need 15 years kwa ama modular nuclear power plant. One nuclear power plant small ones you make from 10 to 15,000 megawatts. Muno Zambia tubomfya 3,000 megawatts. Imagine yo tuwapanga nuclear power plant tuwalafu nyapo 3,000 megawatts today sita supply Mzambia na madamu hatu wakwata isa producer ma 400 600 nga kaliba North Bank na Kafue Gorge tuwalasa mkwa tuwakwata surplus electricity muno Zambia tuwashala na 12,000 megawatts iya kusha ku South Africa ku Angola ku Congo konse ama dola yonse ya kulaisa Mzambia plan yaba leadership movement not ya mangalo atule mona ya sola ni kuisa mwene sola ile solve problem ya electricity ni bana na watu wakwata masola twalikwata masola nalikwata solar farm pang'anda n'amabatteries amabatteries ayenge ama-lithium batteries lero futi alikwata echimperesha teti wonfye welding machine teti uchitenshi nikwisa mwamwene omuntu ula ashita solar ashita solar running ananikane salon takwaba nomba obuteko bulemi bepati natupanga solution atwakula kushafe fuma solar panels lero bachina abene abapanga amasolar bakwata ma nuclear power plant mumu amukushita ati solar ese solution kwena mwebena Zambia mulampapusha uranium oyo balebo mfya konse twalikwata uranium tulepera baba twalikwata boroni mukabwe uko kukabwe uko twalikwata boroni yo boroni oyo babomfya to regulate nuclear reaction using enriched uranium ama boroni roads nomba bambi balami bepati yo fyali ba dangerous nuclear tukapya mano ya mu 1900 ilo amalaiti yatampira abantu baletina amalaiti ato tetubika amalaiti mung'anda anti bapanga ma insulators bamuno fofile poleka lero abantu baba balesambiro kwati amalaiti nga namu yasunga fe bwino kuti mwabomfya nomba pali ino chitanga tumone ama nuclear power plant kwa fe 2 nuclear disasters since 1900 imbi ali kuchona bi balwekeresha ama boron roads ku Ukraine instead ya kuyengisha ya kuyafunya mu batu wala panshi yachita activate massive nuclear reaction heat ya bumuna nine kane nuclear reactor. The other one it was Fukushima iyalengere ni earthquake only 2 muward nuclear abantu damu nga yatobeka abantu abafu bengi tapaba no ulanda nomba bale mibepa basungu ati nuclear is dangerous don't use it balefu afe mushale muchakale bale mipangira amasola bena bale bomfya sola bale pangira imwe bena takwaba masola farm nga bale panga masola farm bapa mumana pasi imwe bale miona wile mpanga ati solar farm 100 megawatts ile bomba fe from 7 hours to 17 hours ushe solution kuti mwakwata malaiti apangwa from 7 hours to 18 hours after if chapwa remaining 18 hours no production. We need production 24/7 nuclear power plant with all the materials that we have in Zambia. That we are bringing as leadership movement.
Let me take some more calls on 095522. The network challenge, but I hope this will definitely help. Good morning.
Morning. This is Silumbe once again. I got cut. I don't know if it's...
We're having network challenge this morning. We hope that you survive. Please make it quick so that you're not caught up in that.
Thank you.
Right.
Allow me to disagree with your guest for offloading who's in our way. You know, this economy is growing.
No, bunga 400.
Sorry?
Go on. Go on. Let him finish. Go on.
No, there is nowhere in this country at the moment we are needing with 400. Misinformation. Let me qualify. The highest is 250, 230. This is information you should get. Coming to the economy, you know, we like reminding Amazonians when we assumed power as new Dawn government, because you are accusing us to say, let's register. Now let me remind you, when we assumed power, this economy was on 2.8 negative. You know, you mean? So this time, we are bragging in the range of 4 to 5%. Before the end of this year, going in the first quarter, we'll be gravitating towards 7% GDP growth. What does it mean? More medicine. You know, these artisanal mines will be capacitated by government intervening, giving them equipment. It means my mining equipment. Look the way we have lost lives using pick and shovel. They are making market holes, you know, and we have lost a lot of them because of your concept, pick and shovel. Now this government wants to formalize that sector. Formalization means capacitating them with equipment, you know, giving them loans, you know, so that they can contribute to control 99, you know. So that's what we're doing. On other hands, you know, the economy will grow. Because if you can go to my records, you know, they are saying these are mining sectors, only a few, it's especially these big conglomerates, are the ones who are contributing. About the smaller mindset, we are not contributing. Go to the record, you find it. So that's why the government wants to all those to make sure that those 1,900 contribute to paying tax. You know, the government strives through my taxes. This issue of hello.
Yes. Wind up. Your time is up.
Thank you. Coming to energy sector, the government has hammered maybe 80%. What does it mean? A lot of projects are underway. That's why we are confident enough as New Dawn government that by the end of this year, load shedding at least will be mitigated, not completely eradicated. Because what we found was there was no investment in this sector. We are talking about nuclear. According to the scientists, government has no capacity as at now to handle this nuclear whatever. And for you to start running this nuclear project, it will take maybe for the boxer to be ticked. It will take maybe 20 years. You have the capacity now to handle those debris, whatever. What of the environment? You have the capacity to protect the environment. You know, already you are complaining of pollution in Mukafia River. What of nuclear, whatever? I am going to manage my Zambians anyway.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Philemon. Thank you.
Maybe I can answer this.
Be brief. Because I meant to take some more calls.
What's the name?
Philemon.
Philemon. Yama kwenyu amulela ndamulebe po ubufi bukalamba mwalishi boko mu bufunya. So kanshi ifyo mulebe pati na ikula economy na mupanga 5% GDP 5% GDP opo ile kulira mwa ba Philemon mufire mwamo na change abantu abalengira mu middle class bafire bafula nombeyo economy omulela ndapo ama digits yabufyayo munfa because ngamwa umfati ba mopani na bachita invest 2.5 na baleta chi equipment na chimbisha nshana ama billions of dollars lero abe na Zambia bali chula nga mwakuchambe shikopa belt yonse abantu bale chula lero mule bale mipela ama digits ama billion yama equipment yo bale leta then because of aye ama billions mwabika mu economy ata na tukwata economic growth GDP na ikula nomba na ifika pa 5% nisha abantu bale chula ba mopani nga bamibe partner bengisha 20,000 jobs mwarasango ko ati abali pa permanent bali fe 1,500 ababa shala ma 3 months contract na ma 6 months contract abantu bale chula bale fulama 15 a development mwingala chita boast ati ona tukusha economy GDP kwisa abantu millions of young people tawakwatesha nchito bale chula lero mulela ndapa GDP ifie finto abena Zambia bene bale imwena teti mbasukire kolero ubufi abena Zambia na beshibo wabufi I think ine nangu mwanjite ati wabufi lero abena Zambia bale umfa bale sekano okusekati kwena ubufi bwafika pa level imbi abantu abalebe bamanwe baba babufi nomba olo mulela ndapali nuclear. Let me tell you about nuclear waste. Nuclear waste yolela ndapo Mr. Philemon is after 5 years after mwabo mfya uranium mwaibo mfya, that's when it decays to the point that you can now release it imuma containers awaiting disposal after years. So you can't talk about nuclear waste today. When you start a nuclear power plant, nuclear waste come over time. And now nuclear power production, the way uranium decays with all these other technologies that have been brought forward, it has been declared clean energy. That's why they talk about green nuclear power production. So much that it produces very little waste. And that waste it produces, it is very little, and you can easily keep it for now until you find the solution. Do you know, let me tell you that right now there are so many nuclear power plants that have not even figured out how to solve the nuclear waste. They are still holding those nuclear waste in containers, and the future is that they will dig tunnels where to put them, because they spend, radioactive decay takes years, maybe thousands of years for it to finish. in terms of decay and in terms of reduction in of radioactive radiations. So ifintu nga tamwishibe mwilalandapo mwila umfuila abasungu baisa mibepo mufiato fialiba difficult na imu umfuila filafine ba mitrene ne ba mitira producer ma engineers ba mipela curriculum ya chabe mwala kwata ma engineers abakuwa titeti bapange na toothpick mwala yafya abasungu bamipangira olwo mwaisa mukubonfya concept tulefu okufunyapo iyo twaisa mumakanga ba leadership movement tulefu omwina Zambia onse nangu maskulu nga wa graduate waumfo kwati nine kanye I can do something tulefu abena Zambia bakwata confidence we can do it as Zambians, not this colonial mindset tulera ndapo ya who calculates GDP yoyin mwalikwata na capacity yo bale mibepa GDP na ikula but ifintu fira pa ground ni fimbi abantu bale chura to tulecha kwenyu kwenyu abantu bale chura iwe ule shenteka abena Zambia ule bepa abena Zambia tifintu firi bwino ati umutengo wabunga ulifye bwino ule bepa abena Zambia ule shenteka abena Zambia ati economy ilifye bwino umuntu ale lipirashinga pa kutifyende ese mtown fio ile umutengo ulishana fio nse fimulation teka abena Zambia bale myumfa bakesa milandula mu 2026 olo mukamona okwebata abena Zambia nabafulwa.
Let me take some more messages. I've got a message here which came as an SMS. We thank you very much. And this one says, "Morning, sir. You're a pure leader. You're a pure leader. I'll vote for you because you have inspired me a lot." And this one is saying, yeah, it further says, you have inspired me. I like Ibrahim too. This is Avala in Mansa, presidential candidate, or you are ready to join a coalition. This is Mr. Kalakolola in Mansa as well. And thank you very much for that. Let me see if I can take a call. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Morning to you. Thank you very much for calling. Your name and where are you calling us from? Bashmalani Murusaka. Mkwai.
Wino mishani Bashmalani.
Wasirumbe kuchushike pachalo. Ifyo mulelanda basumbe mulelanda fishintu fya mano. Ineka pishiwa yupenzi ngabekala muzambia ngabekala kuisa. Ubuchushi buli muchalo shukutu walumbo nenani atiyo yupenzi. Lebomba fishi. Abantu nga mama na basirumbe nzikala mukoppa base kuliko nzikala kulya. Abantu balechula ngani kumaini uko. Inshi nata chorefwe migodi. Tapali filiko kuleti mwako basirumbe mwesa ibo kulya. Chulo kubya abantu. Ero makamaka ba UPND le walirandi kulando ke bati uteko ubwelo ero twamonako twakasa ela UPND sorombo muntu kuti aisoko bati UPND rike kuino chanja no abantu balechula abantu amalaiti yaya all day amasaluni baliwa amabuta libaliwa ambabasho baliwa abantu bali kwati nina abantu balechula kubi uteko bani doniwo so basirumbe semfule mwati ifapine mulelanda mulise buno sana nguso tripo ya manuya kwebati yenani atrisi ya chinga ikapakamisha abena Zambia bene ba UPND wate mukute mwaka basunga bakunta afyalo ayiko nomuna Zambia we bare shama laiti yo chulo munyo wachalo kyonse tibena basungu bate mwafi abaleka basungu abakunta afyalo ayiko nomuna Zambia fyo kutamano kengalanda nokwamba UPND kapitawe UPND fira UPND agenda Silumbe ubu cyushi bukatira patukambo kuri abana biso na tuchulo ubi kubera mamuleni istapiye for at least ifintu kutengwa ariko buno yomba pasiri west tapari umuntu wa manonga support UPND yawo lekeni bakayumwa kama.
Thank you Shmalani. I've got a message here. Says, please kindly tell Mr. Philemon to come on the ground and see for himself how we are suffering. This is Geoffrey Chanda, Mpangwe Farms in Katete. That's where that message is coming from. Thank you very much for that. Let me see if I can take another call. Good morning. Now, Kaba Oswald. Ba Silumbe bakutoshan.
Mishani ba Oswald. Bueno.
Mukama mushe bani mwamda. Mae konsuni anga ni nao chini ya menya ya msibega. Wale maraiki ya India, mae mafuta skadi bandu zake na bwani. Nunga kuno maraiki. Sina mamishe kapa shikada ntanga. Kwa hapa kulilai ni ya kusikisunga kondi. Kwa hiyo maraiki ya poza fana intina wale. Sina mamishe kamzanda kaya. But kuna wanda mwapu ma southern province ya kwa mawestern. Mafuta skadi wate na chemishe mushi. Kwa sinza mwanzo mzake mjira bandu. Kwa kina kuda mafuta skadi. But kuna wanda ya Sizani musha sumo mchingere.
Zikomo, Oswald. Let me see if I can squeeze in a few more calls before we begin to conclude on 0955-221515. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Direct.
Good morning. Thank you very much for calling. Your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Kabo.
Your name again?
Bwino mwashibukeni kukaboko.
Atibanishi na tatu achumfwa.
Mutare.
Mkwaiba mutare. Okay. Konkanya ni poba mutare.
Mkwai ndipo afiro konganya kufyo Silumbe balera. Na Silumbe balera nda sefinti tumtrufe sana. Kufyo balera na nishi. Silumbe kushikona matari ya shaka. Murombe abawe. Ndi ubuteko. Eta so abike mpokwa. Kweso abike banda batesa pika kadalism. Namba bena baleta na ma adaption ya baletire ko Silumbe. Kono umuntu kono kukawo kwali mwali kujeyo mutengo wabunga. Niza mkawe chobunga. Bali mu ikata. Uminaye na ikushave kuno ndikarame nchita naye na bali mu ikata so tatiwene Silumbe. Kadalism iri wese raisa ngono komare isha na abantu benu baikete. Is very unfortunate Silumbe. Silumbe kuja shiri aro state ye muri anda pamasora plant ya baletire. Kuna baba zindiri sumasana Silumbe na mayenda papa uje bakainde kirima. Yabo mko kwaze mubeba. Kira mwana wase bare ngwao basatanga bare randa babombera. Kama bana ni jamana ya watu wara kuisha. Watu mnaweza sana kama erenya mu byo murera vitu ndisikankara sana. Bare kama sore example kuna Silumbe kuna kukawe. Aba jeje rapatamba pana. Iyana bare kuna tukwatama chama tingaza 23 hours. 04 haya. Iyo murera ndabira yere bare ndaturere chama kero kwa kuomi wewe na Zambia. Bare kijya kuvyara kumbi. So mwani Silumbe nyakulo makwandi. Ngero mwatu mwikata mwana wanene ba opposition. Banda tena ranjiresi. Abena Zambia barere pari uteko bafune ko wa PF. Bantu bakainja kirimo bajanje kinti opposition government mureranja. Ero mabaza kupanga opposition. So bare tonto ngati minamo bane kimchaza opposition. So chama mabombera pamona banenu. Kako marubula bena Zambia. Marija kwa pari president. Buntu je omwa abapo parate bantu bonzo. So mjira matumilira omwa. Kibaza mpya kwa ngo minister of energy na kwa agriculture mabombera chakomba chego mureranda. Yera tati nsuje na muranda vinti sankara. Hivi aba nezita bako ngabyo kuri yabyo no kona urecha. Ra ona ora nkono. Nango bara yumo pati kubati ona tuomba. Silumbe ni barombere. Tati je isba etana ni CDF ibareta. Ibamera matumba ya wase. Abene bare ilande rokolanda tele kan tora ya ve wata milioni bare pakurungire. Ambranda tura ku. So ikate Silumbe ka tene ni bare mo generator tera.
Dr. Sana Bamtare from Car. We have got one more before you respond from Malcolm. Malcolm from Mansa says we need a Ibrahim Traore in Zambia. We are tired of promises. The problem is that the UPND don't want to be schooled. They think they know everything. Leave them. They will see in 2026. Malcolm from Mansa. Now, quickly, your reaction. First of all, there are questions that are asked about have you been to Burkina Faso? You seem to be inspired by Ibrahim Traore. Are you not speaking from rumors and all sorts of rumors around the development? Or could it be that you are speaking from internet economic transformation of Burkina Faso, and not that you've been on the ground and not that you know the reality?
Well, first of all, I'm not just centering on Burkina Faso because I've been there. I've been to Burkina Faso, I've been to Senegal, I've been to many of these West African countries. And I've not only looked at the Western countries, I've also seen other countries. You know me, I've studied in Russia, I've studied in South Korea, I've visited a number of countries, Philippines, the whole lot of Europe, you can name them. So I draw inspiration from that put their people first. countries that believe that they themselves can do things, not countries that are puppets. And that situation where all our people and everyone, we feel that it is better off. Imagine, it has only taken our existence as leadership movement to to discourage this notion that every politician who comes on the podium, he talks about foreign investors. Thanks to the leadership movement, because when we came straight from day one, we have always preached the idea that we, the Zambian people, take control of our natural resources, starting from land, minerals, and we need to embark on production and industrialization. And we are seeing a wave of nationalistic agenda from politicians, and we appreciate that, because very soon every politician you hear about in Zambia, they will be speaking one language, and that will be putting Zambia first. Production, taking care of our natural resources, our minerals, and so on and so forth. And that will be development, because Zambians will have no risk of putting a leader who doesn't believe in the Zambian people. Unlike the previous elections and the previous leaders who have always centered their success on foreigners. We saw these rallies. Thousands of people are gathered and the leader is there telling them, "Ine mkanivotera, nina ma Americans yabwera. I have a lot of foreign investors, they are coming." And Zambians, they are voting. And this is how we have betrayed the country, because we have centered, we have, others-centered leaders who center their success on their backers, their foreign backers. And we are rewriting that type of notion. This is our agenda as leadership movement. That's why we are called leadership movement. We are not a political party. We are not focusing on, things that are narrow-minded. We want a leader. Young people should grow up believing that Zambia is theirs. They can take charge of their minerals. They can take charge of their land. They need to own title deeds, not foreigners. Imagine a foreigner has a title and you don't have a title and you call yourself a Zambian. And you are a squatter in your own country. A foreigner has a title and he lives in Britain. This doesn't make sense. He lives in wherever they can live. They are in South Africa, others are in Belgium, but they own swaths of land. We are going to change this notion. When we come into power, we want Zambians alone to be the owners of title deeds. These others should be renting from the Zambian people. Drawing from Ibrahim Traore. Ibrahim Traore has showed the world where he stands. He has risked. And Ibrahim Traore has come as a result of Tokara. So it's not only Ibrahim Traore. The country, Burkina Faso, has never been short of great leaders. They produced Thomas Sankara, who in 5 years developed the economy that is based on the Burkinabes. And then when they are producing a leader like Ibrahim Traore, it's because there is a light that illuminates the path of other leaders to follow. So this is what we are basing our talk on. We are basing on track record, not internet-based research. We have been there in Burkina Faso. We have been in other countries, and we know what development looks like. We know what leaders look like. Leaders don't look like what we have in Zambia. These are not leaders. Leaders, they stand for what is right. Leaders stand on the side of their people. Leaders are not sponsored and pleasing foreigners. These are not leaders. Unfortunately, it will take time for Zambians to realize that, for them to get rid of the colonial mindset that believes that anything foreign is better, the colonial mentality that thinks that only foreigners can develop Mother Zambia, where foreign investors have come. Kansesh Mine has invested $3 billion, which you never see, by the way. Where $3 billion comes in a country, at least provinces should change their way of lives. But nothing changes. And all that money is just on paper. These are the things that Zambians should get up to realize and find a way of measuring leadership. When you hear someone talk, they should see this is a leader, this is just a politician, a sellout. And we saw all that play out, and Zambians don't care. As long as they have received 100 kwacha and a chitenge material, it all goes. And we always vanatinama but benzokamba tawe ise stinga kwanise. I remember hearing UPND saying we cannot take over KCM. Mines belong to the foreigners and foreign investors. We cannot manage. And what has changed now? They have been the same people. They are sellouts. They do not believe in Zambia. They save their foreign betters who sponsor them. And this is what we are trying to awaken the Zambian community to ensure that next time when we are voting for leaders, let's not just follow because that's where we want to go. Even when the parallels are frightening that we are taking the country into a danger of disaster, and we continue and we vote, and then we start lamenting at the end of the day that, oh, we have made a mistake. That's why we have embarked on this re-education process. We are re-educating masses. We are ensuring that Zambians get a little bit of patriotism, a little bit of feeling that I was created in the image of God. Jehovah created me. Therefore, if you are created in the image of Jehovah, you have an attribute of godliness, an attribute of creation. We can make things here in Zambia. We can do bigger things. And if we believe in that, we cannot be moving around begging, having leaders who are moving from one country to another, asking for money, when God has blessed you with so many resources. We have copper, we have gold, we have manganese, all these things, but no one even wants to look at them. We are just looking for foreigners to give us. Here they give us $1 million US. There we auction everything. We bring foreigners to take over our roads, to build our roads. What is wrong with building your own roads with ZNS? You are going to see roads being built with ZNS, not with foreign money. These are the things that we preach about as leadership movement.
Dr. Silumbe, I'm going to give you an extra minute to make your conclusion.
Well, so we are urging the Zambian people to look at what is happening today. The UPND government has failed this country, and we need now a sense of mission. Zambia seeing what can be done for us to leave a legacy. All of us who are here today, we are going to have children sooner or later. What will we leave behind? What will children come and look at and appreciate us for? Those are the questions that should be in our minds as we vote. Are we voting for real change where our children are going to benefit and say, here lived great people who paved the way for prosperity? Or we are voting for another problem where we have to depend on foreigners, we have to be begging again and again. Those are the questions that we leave the Zambian people with. And as for leadership movement, we are saying, rise up, galamkani, hamuwoke. Let us do things that our generations to come will be proud of us, and they will say, there lived great men who transformed Zambia for better and for the future. Very much.
Dr. Richard Silumbe is our guest. He is the Leadership Movement Party president. And thank you very much for your political party should be at peak. And in doing so, we can only wish you all the best. And we sure hope to host you sooner before you get busy with campaigns. To you, our listeners, we thank you very much for having followed our conversation, and for those that managed to come through and participate in our conversation today. We are grateful, and more sincerely, grateful to our partner radio stations, Katete FM. Thank you very much for taking this live. We really appreciate. And also Spice FM in Kabwe, ZFM in Kapiri, and of course Platinum Radio in Indola, and not forgetting Tuta FM in Mansa. We are very grateful. God willing, we should be back with yet another ourselves and more so of each other. Bye-bye.